In 1985, I first arrived to the Art Deco district as a college student on break from the University of Florida. I remember stepping out of my car, which was parked on the 200 block of 9th Street, and looking around in bewilderment. I was there to meet a friend who had just graduated and got himself an apartment on the 800 block of Ocean Drive, which is now today's Casa Grande, the northern building. I met Keith, his girlfriend, who is now his wife Ginger, and our friend Karen Natkin, who teaches at South Point Elementary. And we walked up Ocean Drive and took a seat on the grass in Lowe's Park across from the Carlisle with its reddish-orange neon illumination. To suggest I wasn't smitten by the beauty of the architecture, the evening sky, the faint sound of the waves, and the palm trees surrounding us would be an understatement. I was falling in love with Miami Beach, and whenever on break, I didn't stay at my family's townhome in Aventura. I spent my time here. I must have eaten at Pineapples and Our Place dozens of times. I continued with my education, which took me out to law school in San Diego. In October of 1987, I received a postcard of the Franklin Hotel, which had just been purchased by my friends Jay and Howard Cole. I immediately called Jay and expressed my excitement and told him I was familiar with that section of Miami Beach. He told me, knowing that I was not excited about the prospect of practicing law, if I was unhappy, I should come here and learn this business. So in March of '88, after finals, I was through with law school. I got myself a hitch and a U-Haul, and I found my way home. To say my family was ecstatic would be an untruth. My mom just finished school, take the bar. My dad, South Beach. Even my brother and sister were skeptical. However, it was my grandfather who called me up one morning and said, "I'm leaving your grandma at home. I'm coming down. We're going to go for lunch." We meet at the Franklin. We walk up to the Essex House Hotel, which happened to be for sale for $725,000. And inside, we discussed my future vision. We then went to the News Cafe. My grandfather said, "I know your family is upset that you left school and moved here. Don't listen to them. I like what you're doing." So every day, I would pass the Senator Hotel on 12th and Collins. The Senator was slated for demolition, and in graffiti on the Senator were the haunting words, "Demolition is forever." I would repeatedly see that set of words until the building was finally gone. I reached out to NDPL's Jeff Donnelly and told him I'm interested in learning about the storied history of Miami Beach. He invited me on many tours, and my curiosity, appreciation, and love for the city blossomed. A few years later, I was giving a tour unknowingly to one of the board members for the National Trust for Historic Preservation. He, in turn, wrote a flattering letter to its chair highlighting my effort. In July of 1989, I formed my real estate company and purchased my first multifamily building, a small building on the town of Bay Harbor Islands. It was through serious work and perseverance that my company flourished. Jump ahead to December 2000, I was appointed to the Miami Beach Historic Preservation Board. On its third meeting, I became its chair and remained chair for 5 years. I was turned out in 2007. I served on the Geo Bond Oversight Committee from 2001 to 2007. I was appointed to Mayor David Dermer's Blue Ribbon Panel on the structural integrity of buildings in 2003. I was elected chair and crafted its final report in 2004. I served on the city's first Green and Sustainability Committee from 2007 to 2013. I served on the Miami-Dade County Historic Preservation Board from 2007 to 2018. I was elected chair 8 times. I was appointed to Mayor Philbin's Blue Ribbon Ocean Drive Task Force in 2015. I authored the 5-point plan minority report in 2016. Most recently this year, I completed the Miami Beach Citizens Police Academy and was awarded the Class Hostage Negotiator Medallion. I'm especially proud of that and urge everybody to take that class. The civic accomplishments I'm most proud of during my 5-year tenure as chairman of Miami Beach HPD, my board effectively fought demolition by neglect, a corrupted building department which was issuing emergency demolition orders weekly, and we designated several local historic districts and individual sites in and around Miami Beach. During my 11-year tenure, again, 8 years as chair of the Miami-Dade HPD, we fought for local designations in Bay Harbor, Surfside, and Bal Harbor, as well as other designations such as the historic Hampton House. On 93rd Street, if you drive up A1A today, you'll notice a block that's been entirely cleared of its buildings. It has a construction fence around it. But there's one building in the center that's a 1940 Henry pull-out building. And it was through my effort that that building remains there today, and it will become a viable part of a new project shortly. Also, the Surf Club and the Four Seasons received my board's blessing. As chairman of Mayor Dermer's Blue Ribbon Panel on the structural integrity of buildings, I had the honor of working with noted structural engineers such as the late Arnold Goldman and the late Herb Gottman. Gottman designed the structural systems in Portofino Tower, Murano at Portofino, continuing north, Mystic Point, Aventura, where my folks live, and most recently, the postage stamp size edition that I live in atop the Sherbrooke Hotel. There was also Manny Teresito, the late Ted Berman, Mike Knurp, the top brass of the building and planning departments, as well as members of the development community such as Scott Robbins and Pablo Seas. We analyzed the cause and effect failure of structural systems found throughout Miami Beach and made recommendations in my final report. Many of those recommendations have been adopted into city code, such as minimum maintenance standards, replication, and demolition by neglect. I have many civic accomplishments, such as saving the Coral Rock House, a historic 1916 home built by tourism pioneer Avery Smith. Smith ran a ferry service from the mainland to Miami Beach at a time before there were any bridge connectors. It's often stated that tourism on Miami Beach began with Avery Smith, and his house still stands. I instigated an FBI FDL investigation which culminated in the arrest of 3 high-level City of Miami Beach employees who took in excess of $100,000 in cash and gifts in an effort, a failed effort, to get the Avery Smith home demolished. Again, I want to say I fought public corruption, and I won. I spearheaded the successful effort to save from demolition renowned American artist Jack Stewart's Apollo mural. That was up in Mid-Beach on the Versailles Hotel Annex. I first took note of it as a child. Jack Stewart, his work can be found in museums and private collections around the globe, including the Smithsonian. I'm proud to say the mural now is currently being restored by a team of conservators, and it is slated to be installed on the new fire station, and I look forward to that. And as a business owner and resident, I've successfully fought City Hall for years for the greater good of the community, and now I'm ready to do so from the dais. I see we've got a lot of hands. Okay, thank you. That's my story. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you so much for all your service. I know a lot of that is volunteer time of yours, so we appreciate it. And you say you really Miami Beach. You served on the Ocean Drive Blue Ribbon
tried. I've been fighting special interests for years. I've always said the corruptive influence of campaign donations skews the better judgment of those we elect, and that's why there's been no changes. I said from day one, almost a decade ago, don't throw money at the police. Address the incompatible and problematic entertainment zoning, which essentially creates an attractive nuisance on our streets. To date, we've spent, I believe, way over $100 million. And you are correct, there has been no improvement.
Thank you.
Mitch, as city commissioner, what would be the top 3 priorities that you would have? Things that you want to change in the city when you jump on the
Ocean Drive, without a doubt. Our city does not offer a clean and safe experience for residents and visitors. I would attack that, and I will change this course. My record shows that.
Any other questions? Where? I can see you, I'm sorry.
Hi,
My name's Mario.
Hey, Mario.
A lot of what you're saying is what we hear from every campaign we run. It's sitting in there, I'm not anti-development, I'm pro-sensible development. But as soon as they get in there, I don't know if it's budget issues or what, but everybody seems to flip it and accept public.
I haven't indicated whether I'm for anti-development or pro-development. I'm for good development, responsible development. As the chairman of HPP here and the county, I've approved over $2 billion in development in this city and county. And my record speaks for itself. I'm not a shill for developers, and I'm not afraid to say no to them or my friends. Betty, how are you? Betty, what do you think about the senator part of my speech?
I thought it was very nice.
Do you remember those words?
I have a picture in a history book sitting down to what we're happening. What do you think is happening with preservation nowadays? And what do you think of all the zoning changes that is happening nowadays? And what are you doing nowadays to stop all this BS?
Good question. Just this past commission meeting, I defeated Commissioner Richardson's foolish plan to raise the height of Ocean Drive to 12 stories. And I thank those on the commission for defeating that measure.
He's so right.
Yeah.
That's what you have to fight nowadays.
It's nothing new. I've been fighting demolition by neglect and bad ideas for
What do you think of what's happening now?
It shapes them, and that is the city and the not preservation committee, but historic preservation board should have been far more aggressive 5 years ago. I know if I was on board then, the building would probably be thriving.
Do you think that what preservation does, and what do you think preservation does?
Preservation is important.
Why?
I believe the history of the city is what makes the city great, and that's what makes Miami Beach very special, and that's why we're here. Matthew.
Since you have a long history on city and county boards, how would you use that experience to build consensus on things?
I have a history of building consensus. That's why I was reelected over and over again. It's not because I'm a nice guy, it's because I ran a good meeting, and I was able to build consensus and keep the process moving. Responsible.
No one else can make a change.
Incompetence, undue influence, you know what it is.
Okay.
Kevin,
We tend to turn down a little bit of your fighting rhetoric. Are you going to be more presidential in your
fighting rhetoric?
No, we all know you to be. Are you going to continue about the
I don't shoot from the hip, I shoot the
You know what I
hip.
mean?
I shoot the hip to effectuate change. Yes. Good question. I intend to listen to the residents, and as always, I will do what I do to make things better for everybody. Does that answer your question? You're looking at me like I'm nuts.
I'm looking forward to meeting with you.
Okay, I look forward. What's your name? Great. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Anything else, Joe? Maybe that's in the cards.
Run for mayor.
Well, I want to be a commissioner for a little while at least. Okay, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Anytime you want to come, and we will give you the mic and introduce you as a new candidate that has lived here for many years.